the week been for you? Obviously, big things going on.
Well, it's just a tiny thing, right? Nothing special. No,
Oh, right,
it's
right.
been going great, man. I'm in great spirits. I'm happy to be here, and everything is going very very well, and I'm enjoying every second of it.
That is awesome to hear. And do you like these big kind of fight weeks, or is it a little bit much at times? Like, how you dealing with the whole spectacle?
I love it, and I always, I'm a very positive spirit, and I always tell people, you got to enjoy this. You got to enjoy it to the fullest because it's only a short time of period in your life that you're able to do this. So you better have fun doing it. And sometimes I admit, there's a lot of interviews and a lot of the same questions. I'm like, oh, here we go
Yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, I just love being here and tasting the atmosphere and everything, the vibe. It's just a special kind of feeling.
Of course, yeah. Well, I'll try and hopefully I don't ask any too many repeats for you. Okay, I'm gonna try not to.
No, don't worry about it. It's okay, don't worry.
Well, anyway, I didn't know about this recently, actually, but before you made your comeback, correct me if I'm wrong, but you had dealt with an eye injury. Is that right? And how
Yeah,
severe?
that's correct.
Okay, yeah. Just curious, like how severe was that? Because I mean, obviously, anything involving eyes, is a big deal. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it was severe. My doctors told me I would never fight again, and they basically said, "Hang up your gluster, man." And I looked them in the eye. I'm like, "Yeah, seriously? A lot of people already told me to quit,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna make it. But you ain't the one gonna tell me that. I'm gonna do this my way." And he was like, "Okay." And then over time, things got a little bit better, and I do get permanent damage on the nerve, but nothing that will stop me from fighting.
Hmm.
I got cleared by many doctors, and they said, "Yeah, you can fight." So we're ready to go. I see perfectly, and let's go.
Well, that's good. That's good. Was it? Would you say it was kind of like the scariest injury of your career, though? I just hate eye stuff, so it would be the worst for me personally.
The thing is, I love being in nature, and I love, you know, I love seeing so many things. So if you're partially blind,
Yeah.
it's very scary.
Yeah.
For a long time, I was very blind on one side, so that's very scary. It is, but you know, everything in life, not everything though, but a lot of things in life, happen for a reason, and
Hmm.
sometimes things work out for the better.
Hmm.
You learn so much about yourself, even though it hurts, a period of time, and you be like, yo, why does this happen? But at the end of the day, I come back so much stronger, and I appreciate everything. And like I said, the most important thing is I'm gonna do this my way.
Hmm.
And like I said to the doctor, you're not gonna tell me I can't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
many people already told me that, and I'm
Exactly.
still here.
Yep.
So
That
nobody
is
will
for
hold me
sure.
back.
For sure. And this last thing about the eye, though, just did it happen in like training? Like, how did it happen? I'm just curious.
It's a stupid accident. It
Oh,
was
okay.
seriously an accident. I was playing soccer, so I kicked the ball.
Oh.
So I wanted to shoot on the goalie and make a score, and I really shoot the ball hard, and it hit the goalie, and it came back, and the ball hit my eye.
Oh my goodness.
A freak ass accident.
Wow.
Seriously, 21 years of fighting. I played soccer. I kicked the ball, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, oh, did that happen with fighting? And I'm like, no. What do you mean no? I'm like, no. It happened with playing soccer. So this camp, I decided not to play soccer.
There you go.
To
There you
keep it
go.
safe. To keep it safe. But as soon
Yeah.
as I'm back, I'm starting playing soccer again. But things happen in life. It's always the freak ass
Hmm.
little things. You be like, are you kidding me? Did this just happen to me?
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe next time you're on the soccer field, and be like, why is Jermaine wearing goggles? You're like, well, something happened one time. That soccer ball incident.
Well, you're laughing now. You listen. I'm not kidding. You know I have special goggles for playing soccer, right?
Oh no,
No.
I didn't know that, but hey, makes sense.
Yeah. I Yeah, I have goggles. I don't wear them because I don't like them. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, this looks stupid. But I had them for a little while because of the pressure in my eye to protect my eye. But I
Of
used to
course.
also in the beginning. I trained with it in training too, just to not get punched in the eye.
Yeah.
in the beginning. Yeah, I had special
Okay.
goggles. I went to some eye doctor and they made special goggles. Not just it's just to protect the eye socket. You
Yeah.
know that you don't get punched or get a ball in it. But now I don't have to wear them anymore. But I didn't wear them for too long. I'm like, these things are stupid. I don't look
Yeah.
fancy in them.
Yeah. Well, hey, that makes sense. Yeah, I hear you. Uh, but you've been fighting for so long in combat sports now. Just not just MMA, but like kickboxing and everything, obviously. So I'm just curious. If you could give some advice to the Germaine that made her debut in MMA in 2008 against Vanessa Porto, what would you tell yourself?
Um, well, my advice would be my probably that advice would be tap if the submission is in.
Yeah. Oh,
I got armbarred by Vanessa Porto and I didn't tap, and well, she ripped my arm into pieces. Well, yeah, basically she did.
uh,
I thought I had no experience in MMA, and I'm like, oh, I can get out of this. Well, no, Jermaine, you can. So that was very painful. So if the submission is in, tap, and just at first embrace the ground game more,
mhm.
because jiu-jitsu and wrestling is a very different kind of sport. And I see a lot of kickboxers right now, transferring to MMA. And I believe, honestly, some of them look at it too easy. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, I just throw a knee. Now, it's not like that. You don't just throw a knee,
Mhm.
you know? So just focus. Take your time. Don't rush anything.
Mhm.
Everybody just focusing on, I want to be in the UFC. I want to be a UFC champion. That's great. And I completely understand, but take your time. When
Mhm.
you're young, you have plenty of time. You don't want to rush things
Mhm.
because it takes a lot, not only physically but also mentally. Being in such a big organization as the UFC, there are no shortcuts in the UFC.
Yeah.
So take your time.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Well said. I agree with that. I'm not a fighter, but that makes sense to me. um, but as for sports, your sports career, just kickboxing, growing up. Like what led you to that, or if there was anything specific, or did it just kind of happen randomly?
My transition to MMA.
No, just like getting into kickboxing when you're growing up. Like, how did you get into combat sports in general?
hmm So I played soccer, very high level. I was in the selection team of the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
I played soccer for a long time and I really enjoyed it. And one day I woke up and I looked at my mom like, I'm done playing soccer. She'd be like, okay, well, that's fine. If you're done with it, you're done with it. And a friend of mine, he was doing kickboxing at the time. And he asked me, and I was a heavy girl. I was pretty heavy. I think I was walking around at almost 205.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
heavy. I was a big girl at the time. Yeah, 200 pounds, close to. Yeah, close to
Wow.
200 pounds. And a friend of mine told me he was doing kickboxing, and he was like, "You want to come with me one time?" And I'm like, "Okay, I'll do that." You know. And then I was training for 2 months, and then the coach said, "You want to do a fight?" And I'm like, "Okay, let's try it."
Hmm.
And I never ever had intention to become a world champion.
Yeah.
Never ever. And honestly, one thing just led to another, and it all played out. Right now being here.
Mm. Yeah. Well, worked out
It's the
pretty good.
crazy journey.
Yeah. Definitely crazy how it just happens like that, huh? But
Yeah, seriously. Then it shows how crazy life can be. And
mhm.
whatever turn it's turning.
Yeah.
Sometimes something changes in in a person's life, and they be like, "Well, I had a plan, and it was supposed to go that way." Yeah, but maybe your journey is supposed to lead another way,
Mm.
and brings out something in deep inside you that you never thought you had or could, and now you're exploring something that honestly, truly makes you happy,
Yeah.
even though you thought going the other road was the road you had to take.
Yeah. It's just about getting
Life
the
is,
experiences, huh?
life
Yeah.
is exactly, and life can be weird.
Mhm.
Can be, just gotta embrace it and enjoy it as much as you can, and do what makes you happy.
Yes.
Honestly,
Yep.
people gotta do what makes them happy
Yep.
without hurting anybody.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Unless they ask for it, no. It's just-
It's weird for me saying when I'm about to step in a cage and fight somebody,
yeah, yeah.
but it's different because I truly see myself as a mixed martial artist.
Hmm.
So it's not like I like you want to hurt somebody to hurt somebody. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I get that. I get that. And also, though, I mean, you've worked as a police officer throughout your fighting career, right? And so, was there ever a point though where balancing both of those careers was kind of difficult, or just how's that experience been?
I'm still a police officer.
Hmm.
I'm still a police officer, and I love my job. It is sometimes hard because I work and train. I really don't get time off to prepare myself for a fight.
Hmm.
We don't do that in Holland. To be like, okay, cool, you want to fight, but you got to still work.
Yeah, yeah.
So unless if you don't want to get paid, you got to take absence of leave. But it's for your own cost. So yeah, at times it's difficult because I'm getting older too. I've been fighting for 21 years.
Yeah.
My body took a lot of damage over the years. After over 60 pro fights, it's been a long career,
Hmm.
and sometimes it's very hard, very hard. But at the same time, I'm a very healthy. I'm healthy, and I want to contribute something to society.
Yeah.
Not just being a fighter. I just want to contribute something. And for me, it's very important that people feel safe. When
Hmm.
you walk the streets, you feel safe. I want to help people there where I can.
Yeah.
So I love my job. I love what I'm doing, and I love fighting. So at times it's hard, but at the same time, it's so much rewarding.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I'm in a good position. I'm blessed.
Yeah, right on. Very cool. It's awesome to, always awesome to be able to help people, I think. So, yeah, you're definitely doing it right, I think. Um, but you mentioned it there,
Oh, thank you.
hinted at it a little bit. I mean, do you have any, I don't know, maybe not a plan necessarily, but do you think about like how much longer you'll be fighting for, or just going with the flow, and just remaining positive in all situations?
I'm always positive in every situation,
Yeah.
and of course you think about it, and because I want to become a mom one day.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, if you ask me right now, I don't know. Because and I don't think it's a thought that should be in my mind right now.
Yeah.
I do, you do have a plan for yourself, but it's not a thought that it's crossing my mind right now, and I don't think that's the right thought to have right now.
Yeah.
But I do know there's not much left for me to do after this.
Mm-hmm.
I can defend the belt, or if I lose, there's not much to do after this.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we'll see. Of course, you want to defend the belt, but if I lose, I don't know. Am I
Mm-hmm.
gonna try and capture the belt again? I don't know. But still, like I said, right now my focus is on Saturday. Have fun, absolutely have fun, and that's the coolest part. I get to have fun, and I get to fight the best female MMA fighter there is at this moment. So that is just one thing on itself that is awesome, and I put another thing in my basket for things that write my legacy,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the most important thing right now. That's my focus, and after Saturday, I'm gonna let my body heal, and then we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just living in the moment, right?
Hell yeah!
And for this big rematch with Nunes, which you mentioned there, you've both obviously gotten so much better in all areas since your first fight 6 years ago. But really, you've never lost a fight when you've been able to keep things standing, and your takedown defense has improved a lot over the recent years. Do you think if this fight turns into like purely a kickboxing match, that you should be able to cruise right to victory?
Yeah, of course. I believe, and then don't get me wrong. I have the utmost respect for Amanda. I absolutely do. I mean, she's a great champion, no
Mm-hmm.
doubt about that. And it's an honor for me to step in that octagon with her again. But if this was supposed to be a kickboxing fight with 10-ounce gloves, she would have no chance.
Mm-hmm.
With all due respect, But it's not kickboxing. This is MMA. I don't expect this fight to. That I don't. I expect Amanda to shoot on me. And if we look in the past, with Amanda, she she has troubles with true kickboxers. Look at Valentina.
Mm-hmm.
You could see she had a tough fight with Valentina. Both fights were very tough. So I am in for a tough fight. That's one thing that's for sure. And I know she has legit power, so I have to be careful with that too. I have 25 minutes. I have time.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have, I have a plan. I have time. And I'm not gonna rush anything. Like I said, I've got 25 minutes. But if we keep it, if we can keep it like a kickboxing fight, it's getting more in my favor every minute. But even on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
I honestly believe on the ground I'm not afraid of her. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I will not make the same stupid mistakes I did in our first fight.
Yeah.
But I do believe she's going to shoot on me. There's no doubt about that.
Do you think it's
Because I honestly believe Amanda knows too.
Yeah.
I am the most dangerous fighter at this moment that can beat her. I believe I am the only one at this moment that can beat Amanda Nunes.
Well, hey, I mean, yeah, good to have the self-belief. So, and I mean, it's going to be a great fight. I can't wait for it.
Hell yeah.
So,
No matter if nobody believes in me, I know there's a lot of people believe in me, but I know there's a lot of people that don't see it, and it's okay. If nobody would believe in me, it's okay. As long as I believe, I'm the one that has to step in there.
yeah, exactly. It's kind of pretty important if it's you're the only one that matters in this situation. So yeah, so definitely
But
true.
I honestly believe too. It's absolutely a team effort. I have
Yeah.
a great team behind me, honestly. And you cannot do this without a great team behind you and a great support behind you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not possible that it is just me. I'm the one that has to execute it, but I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be the woman that I am without so many people that stand behind me. No
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah, of course. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? Is that was what they say? Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah. But Germaine, I mean, since you are known, as one of the best strikers in the sport, period, really. I mean, just how much grappling training compared to striking do you still do these days? Or is it like, do you lean towards grappling because you already, you're such a good striker, or is it like pretty balanced? Just like, how does that work?
No, it's absolutely balanced. It's completely balanced out. We do everything, and you have to be prepared for everything. And it would be very arrogant and ignorant for me to only solely focus on my kickboxing
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not fighting kickboxing.
Yeah.
I'm fighting MMA, and when I fight kickboxing, I fight a completely different style
Mm-hmm.
than I have to fight MMA. I had to adjust my style a lot. If I was to fight the kickboxing right now, if this was supposed to be a kickboxing fight, I would have fought very differently from how I approached this MMA fight. So, like I said, it would be arrogant and ignorant for me to solely focus on kickboxing, and that's stupid. I made that mistake before,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to make that again.
Hey, that's how you learn. That's how you learn. So.
Hell yeah, I got
Yeah.
a good lesson, and like I said, a lot of people, and I give her that credit. I'm very thankful to Amanda. She brought out the best in me after our first fight. And that's the honest truth. I've learned so much after our first fight. And I'm thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
I am, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Of
Because
course.
if you just walk over somebody, or and stick to your mind in being that kickboxer in a completely different sport, you cannot compare kickboxing to MMA at all.
Yeah.
Not even close. You're stupid. And Amanda opened my eyes, because at that point I was still seriously a real kickboxer. She opened my eyes. I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful because she showed me that I'm like, kickboxing is amazing, but you're doing something different right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to adjust.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very well said. Very, very great insight there. Okay, Germaine, last thing I have for you here. Sorry if I kept you a little bit long, but last thing I got.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. It's okay.
Okay. One of your old opponents, Julia Budd, she's said to welcome Cyborg to Bellator in January, and I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on that great matchup and who you think might win it? Tough one, huh?
I'm very bad at predictions, but I put my money on Cyborg.
Yeah.
I'm very bad at well, yeah, definitely on Cyborg. I fought Julia twice
Mm-hmm.
in kickboxing and MMA, but no, I believe definitely the power of Cyborg will crush Julia Butt. With all the respect for Julia Butt,
Yeah.
who evolved into a great MMA fighter,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, no, I put my money on. It's a great fight, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
but I put my money on Cyborg.
Fair enough. Fair enough.